Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Curtain Call podcast here on the ManOn2nd YouTube channel. Got an exciting show today because I'm going to be revealing my ballot for the Baseball Hall of Fame. But before we do so, I want to wish everyone happy holidays. I hope everyone enjoyed, had Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, happy holidays in general to everyone. And just a little background for those who follow the channel or follow me. I'm a longtime reporter, over 40 years in the professional and newspaper and internet, about 20 years with MLB.com. Still active member of the BBWAA. And for the first time, I will have a Hall of Fame ballot. And I am going to announce that ballot here on the show. And just before I kind of dive into it, just a little background about me. Like I said, I covered the Marlins for MLB.com for about 18 years, just under 20 years, still an active member. And then since retirement, started this channel, among other ventures that I'm doing. But obviously, the YouTube channel's had a great year and enjoying what we're doing here as we're growing the ManOn2nd brand. But today, we're going to be talking about the National Baseball Hall of Fame. To qualify, you have to be 10 years active service. Took forever for MLB.com to be added to the baseball writers, but we are honored, and this is the first time I'm qualifying and eligible to vote, I should say. Just a little bit so the fans know, you can vote on the ballot. They give you the ballot and with little check marks, and you check who you want, and you could vote 0 to up to no more than 10. My ballot, I will try to put 10 as often as possible, but my process might be a little bit different than some others. To me, the way I did it, and just some background there, I've consulted with a good half a dozen former executives, scouts, media members. I won't tell you exactly who, but I will divulge. I did talk to Jack McKeon, who I've known for over 20 years, since Jack managed the Marlins. Great respect for Jack McKeon. Bounced names off him and just kind of got his idea what, in his opinion, was who qualified as a Hall of Famer. Among others, my good friend Kevin Kernan, longtime sports writer in New York, San Diego, among other places, a Hall of Famer in his own right. I consulted with Kevin and, about he goes about it. And one thing, I picked up from Kevin was, and I will apply that here. And Kevin kind of notes it when he announces his, and I will make the same mantra. This is my ballot, not yours. So we will keep that in mind. You're free to agree, disagree, but it is my ballot. But the way I did my process, as I'm going to try to get on this up to 10. I will put 10 names. But the way I look at it is, if you are like a surefire, like Ichiro a year ago, someone who I think is like an automatic first-year ballot type of player, there's usually one or two of those type of guys on the ballot. Even though they don't give you an order 1 to 10, in my mind, in my process, I did 1 through 10. So the first one or two, maybe three, are guys I expect to be in a Hall of Fame either this year, next year, or the year after. Very short window. Then on my list, if you're like 3, 4, or if you're like 3, 4, 5, or 4, 5, 6, you're kind of in that 3 to 5 year window, because these players have 10 years to be on the ballot. And then like 6, 7, 8 are they're in that 5 to 10 years. And then 9 and 10, I may even put like number 10, number 9, players I feel like just want to acknowledge a great career. They'll probably fall shy of a Hall of Fame, but I'm not going to put them in over someone I thought was a slam dunk. But I think that they deserve recognition, acknowledgement, a hat tip for a great career. With the stipulation that those players, there's no guarantee I'm going to vote for them the year after if they do so qualify. So those are just kind of some of my guidelines, just so you guys know where I'm coming from. Among others, when I talk to these baseball insiders, longtime people in baseball, scouts, executives, I ask them about the steroid players. And to be honest, to a person, everyone has softened on that. like there's no hardline stance. I'm kind of in agreement. I didn't have a chance to vote for like Barry Bonds or Roger Clemens. I would have. It's a very complicated. Everyone has their feelings, but to me, it's like, when you look in, like, first of all, I believe there are players in the Hall of Fame who've done substances that would have been considered banned. Some of it's a little murky. The specifics, all these players, whether you fail the test or whatnot, everyone knows that they've already been punished in terms of not being first ballot type players. There are, like Kevin Koenig acknowledges, you have Commissioner Bud Selig's in the Hall of Fame. You have various managers who are in the Hall of Fame who benefited on rosters that had alleged steroid users or performance enhancing users. I'm not going to make this a whole steroid type of thing and do the morality test, but just kind of what I found interesting was a lot of the people I talked to, long timers in the game, all of them were in agreement that steroid players, it's hard to weed out who should be in, who should be out, and they are in agreement they probably should be in. One veteran suggested if they want to put a little timeout wing or a little Hall of Fame, timeout wing where you put them over there, but kind of a general consensus is the Hall of Fame is a museum and should acknowledge the greatest players of the game. And it's hard to tell the baseball story of the eras without some of these players. So with that said, I'm going to kind of jump into it. Like I said, 10, I did fill out 10 names, and I will tell you who the 11th would have been, and I really struggled with that, but we will do that at the end of the podcast. And here, let me call up because I'm going to let everyone see my ballot. Get this guy up there. There we go. Let's see, get this ordered. So I hope everyone could see that. But again, there's no order 1 through 10, but I have an order 1 through 10. Another thing, just a caveat before I go, and it applies to the first name on my ballot, who is Carlos Beltran, is number 1. This is Carlos's 4th year. A year ago, Carlos is at 70.3% of the vote. To be inducted, you need to be on 75% of the ballots. Last year, I think there were 395 voters, so you had to be on X number, 75% of those. So I anticipate it'll be roughly about 400, maybe a little under, again, this year. Just kind of in general, if a player like Carlos Beltran's at 70%, automatically I'm voting for that player because I am not going to start if the BBWAA, if the body has come to, has put players in that 60, 65, 70 threshold. I don't have an exact cutoff number. I am not going to build a case to not put that player in. So Carlos Beltran is number 1 on my list. Let's be honest, this guy, 435 career home runs, 565 stolen bases, 2,725 hits. He's one of 5 players with 400 homers and 300 stolen bases in his career. Postseason was excellent, 16 homers, a 307 postseason average with a 609 slugging percentage. All-around player, 3-time Gold Glover, plus 67 defensive run save for his career. And I'm giving some WAR numbers. The WAR numbers I'm giving are baseball reference WAR numbers. 70.1 WAR, 59.2 JAWS. Those are like peak years. Those are kind of metrics that are used. It puts him pretty much. I think he's going to be in the Hall of Fame. So why not? Is the 2017 Houston Astros sign stealing scandal. But of note, no player was suspended from that. Some managers and executives were. But Carlos Beltran gets my number 1 vote. Number 2, let me get a little sip before I get to this one. On my list is Andruw Jones, the great center fielder for those Atlanta Braves team. 9th year of eligibility. So Andruw is running out of time. He needs to get in now or next year. 66.2% of the vote last year. So I'm pushing Andruw across. I'm not going to be someone saying no. I'm doing my part to get Andruw Jones in. As one veteran scout I talked to, obviously, an all-time great defensive player. As one scout said, best center fielder since Willie Mays defensively. 10 consecutive Gold Gloves. An all-time leader among defensive run saves or outfielders. I think he was second only, from data I researched, second only to Brooks Robinson, the great third baseman from the Orioles days. 434 career homers. And he's one of 5 center fielders with more than 400 homers, 10 seasons with 20 or more homers, 5 seasons with 30 or more homers. In his peak years from 1998 to 07, he had a 62 WAR with 368 homers. Key contributor on the 1995 Atlanta Braves World Series team, and a central figure on 14 straight Braves division titles. Andrew Jones, you have my vote for the Hall of Fame. Let's go to number 3, because 3 is going to get a little controversial. But I took Alex Rodriguez. We all know why A-Rod's not already in. 5th year of eligibility for A-Rod, 37.1%. Still think he's going to have a hard time getting that 75 threshold, but maybe in the next few years it'll happen for A-Rod. Simply why? He's a generational talent. I mean, he is one of the all-time great players. I had one scout friend tell me that Barry Bonds is the best player he's ever seen, and Alex Rodriguez is the most talented player he's ever seen. Like I said, 696 career homers, 4th all-time, 2,086 RBIs, 3rd all-time, 3,115 hits, 329 stolen bases, 3 MVP awards. I mean, it's just simply the Baseball Reference WAR of 117.6. I mean, he was a generational talent. He is, he exemplified, impact and greatness. Kind of revolutionized the sport in a way. And one veteran scout noted, like, you go back to like a Robin Yount for kind of the bigger, stronger shortstop. Obviously went to third with the Yankees because Derek Jeter was on the roster, but kind of helped revolutionize the position. Obviously, we know the accusations of performance-enhancing drugs or why not. I already said what I did about that. And we get to number 4 on my list. I'm going with Manny Ramirez. Manny, 10th year, so it's do or die right now for Manny Ramirez to be in on the writers' ballot. Manny gets my vote. 34.3%. It's going to be really hard to imagine he's going to get the 75%, but he has my vote. And why? I mean, simply one of the greatest right-handed hitters of all time. 555 homers, a 312 career batting average, 411 on base percentage, a 585 slugging percentage, peak years 95 to 08, 12 seasons, OPS plus of 150 or more. 9 seasons in the top 10 in MVP voting. He was a playoff performer. 78 RBIs. I believe that's an MLB record. 2 World Series titles. Again, we're going to talk about the speculation, the PED use. I guess people talk about drug tests failed, but like noted, you cannot tell the story of baseball in the 90s and the 2000s, early 2000s, without mentioning Manny Ramirez. He comes in number 4 on my list. Number 5 may surprise some people, but did a lot of research, got a lot of input from people I respect in the game, and Felix Hernandez. King Felix, Seattle Mariners superstar, 2nd year on the ballot, got 20.6% of the vote. Why? I mean, some people, a shorter type of career in terms of his peak, but what the thing that gave me for King Felix at this spot is, as some people noted, there was that window 5 to 7 years where you could flat out say the best pitcher in the game was King Felix. Dominated from 2009 to 15 with an ERA. Keep in mind, in the American League those years, the National League didn't have the DH. 288 ERA, a 45 WAR. This guy, 2010 Cy Young Award winner, got it with 13-12 record. Really King Felix kind of represented a cultural shift. Obviously, as analytics have made their presence more known, the fact that he won it that year with 13-12 record, kind of set the standard for good or bad, that, performance isn't measured entirely by wins and losses, but an elite performer, had a tremendous durability, 6 seasons of 230, at least 230 innings pitched, 5 consecutive seasons, 09 to 14, with 200 innings pitched and a 3.10 or lower ERA. Perfect game in 2012, 2 no-hitters, 6-time All-Star. I think we're looking at an age where 300 wins, 3,000 strikeouts are not going to be very realistic. But, this guy, it's going to be interesting. 169 career wins, 342 career ERA, 169 and 136 career record. I think that we're seeing that, the 200 win category is going to be hard to get to in this day and age where, pitchers aren't going as deep into games. So, King Felix, you are on my ballot, number 5. Number 6, Andy Pettitte. In his 8th season eligible, 27.9% of the vote a year ago. I'm on the Andy bandwagon. Obviously, one of the best postseason pitchers ever, in 19 postseason wins, which is a record. 44 postseason starts, a record, 2.87 ERA. So, this guy exemplified sustained excellence, 256 wins in 18 seasons. 15 seasons with 180 innings pitched or more. Just to me, the more I broke him down, it was like, this guy was not necessarily dominant, but he was consistent he performed at a consistent high level for so many years. He did have his PED. Were admitted to a limited HGH use to help recover from injury. Was not suspended and was never tested positive. Never tested positive. Excuse me. And just kind of the quote marks I put. His value showed up in games that mattered. So I do weigh that. Obviously, not every player is blessed to be on a team like the Yankees that could go to the playoffs every year, but no doubting Andy Pettitte's, resume in the postseason. Brings us to number 7, because I kind of wrestled 6-7 with Andy Pettitte and this left-hander, and it's Cole Hamels, the great with the Phillies, first time on the ballot, and like Andy Pettitte, lefty who was a big game pitcher and a postseason standout. 2008, when the Phillies won the World Series, Cole was 4-0 with a 1.80 ERA. He was the National League Championship Series MVP. This guy was one of the top lefty performers of the decade. From 2007 to 16, he had a 3.05 ERA and a 40 WAR. 6 seasons of 200 innings or more. 4 seasons in the top 10 in ERA. 4-time All-Star. 2015 threw a no-hitter. And 59 career Baseball Reference WAR. He's right there. His numbers put him right there on the cusp of what the average type of guys get in. A guy with 163 wins, 122 losses, career 3.43 career ERA, 2,560 strikeouts in 25 complete games. Cole Hamels is number 7 on my list. Brings us to number 8, and I'm going to kind of be Philly happy here because I'm going with Chase Utley in his 3rd year of eligibility, 39.8%. In all the years I covered the Marlins, I covered the Phillies. They played 18 times back then. I probably covered all of them. That's why I always went to Philly, and I always covered when they came here. So Chase Utley, Cole Hamels, and the rest, and those great teams for a long time. With Chase, he was just elite peak player in his premium position, and I do think this might help Chase's case as we move forward. Jeff Kent just got inducted into the Hall of Fame by one of the committees, and Chase has a higher career WAR than Jeff Kent. So when we're looking at the position of second base, Chase Utley, in my opinion, was the best in the National League for a good decade. Can make the argument, with Chase. I mean, let's break him down. When notes I wrote about him. He combined power, defense, and base running. People don't talk enough about base running because it's kind of a lost art. From 2005 to 2009, he had 44 WAR, an OPS plus of 132, and 139 home runs. He's arguably the most complete player in the National League. In that window, and he was. You can make a case for defense. He was one of the top defensive second basemen ever. 4 Gold Gloves, top 5 all-time in defensive run saves among second basemen, exceptional range, and his double plays, pivots, the way he turned them is kind of legendary. His positioning was second to none. 259 career homers, 465 slugging, 64 career WAR. He's there. And he was a playoff performer as well. 13 homers in the postseason, which is most among second basemen. Takes us to number 9. This is getting a little interesting to me, and I had to get talked into this player, but it made sense when I started hearing it and breaking it down. Number 9 on my list is David Wright, obviously the New York Mets great. Third year on the ballot, just 8.1%. If David does get in, it's probably going to be in the back end, and at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years for him. And why I kind of put him there, as one veteran scout kind of noted, history is going to show, ranking among third basemen, that David Wright's number is going to stack up, especially where the industry is headed. But in his day, legit MVP caliber superstar at a peak, in his peak years, 05 to 13, a 49 WAR in those 9 seasons, 242 home runs, 196 stolen bases. 4 times in the top 10 in MVP voting. He combined power, speed, defense, plate discipline. Credit David Wright. He was right there. Elite two-way player, 2-time Gold Glove winner. And let's put it this way: with David Wright, it wasn't injuries. It wasn't. The injuries. Is why his career declined. He didn't decline just because he just regressed. The injuries are why David Wright, a little bit Don Mattingly like, may also find that path where he's just kind of on the bubble south, not getting in. And let's take it to number 10, because this was a really tough one. But I gave the nod, and I'm going to tell you who number 11 is. I couldn't vote for number 11, obviously, but that player will be on my ballot next year. But as I wrap out the top 10, I'm going with Mr. Jimmy Rollins, giving me my third Philly on this list. Great shortstop in his 5th year, 18% of the vote, 2007 National League MVP. You got Utley, you got Rollins. He had amazing middle infield. Elite two-way player, like I said, 2007 National League MVP. Durability. This guy was all around excellence. And in the 2007 season, I just kind of highlighted 30 homers and 41 stolen bases. That's amazing. And what do you have, like 20 triples, I believe, that year as well. 4-time Gold Glove winner, Silver Slugger, strong defensive metrics, hit 17 years. So he showed durability, 2,455 career hits, 231 homers, 470 steals. Just a Jimmy Rollins fan. And when I was weighing, the 10th spot, whether Jimmy Rollins or this player who didn't make my list, but who I'll touch on briefly, one of the reasons I did was I just thought from maybe the speed element, he impacted the game just a little bit more than this player. But that rounds out my top 10. You could see my list there for all to see. But if we were to go to a number 11, was Dustin Pedroia. I really wrestled with this. I hated that I couldn't get Dustin on my list there. It's his 2nd year of eligibility, 11.9%. I thought he kind of stacked, obviously, a second baseman. I thought he stacked up very tightly with Utley and Jimmy Rollins. If we were just going to, he in 2008 was the AL MVP, 4-time Gold Glove winner, 2-time World Series champ. I mean, the guy was really kind of a catalyst for those great, Red Sox teams, those championship teams. But, that he falls short, but I'm anticipating, we're going to see, we're going to see Beltran and Andrew Jones making it. So that will free up 2 spots coming next year. And, I'll give Dustin Pedroia, very good chance of making it next year. But that's my list. That's my process. I just want to be transparent with people. I could have written it down, but I want to explain thoroughly where I'm coming from with this. Hope you enjoyed it. Get a little explain, take it a little bit further. For those following the channel, please like and subscribe if you like what you see. ManOn2nd's had an amazing year in 2025. We topped 13 million views as we're growing this. We'll get more podcasts going in the new year, but the videos are going to be there and everything that makes it great as we just keep growing the brand. We kind of see where this thing's headed, and we're just having a lot of fun doing it. But with that, again, please like and subscribe, leave comments if you agree, disagree, just be respectful so I don't have to delete you. But in the process, I try to be transparent and let everyone know. Oh, one last thing. They allow you on your ballot to give you, after 14 days, if you want your ballot to be made public. I said yes, so I have nothing to hide, and I laid it all out. With that, I wish everyone, a great rest of their holiday season and a happy new year. This is probably going to be the last podcast before we ring in the new year. But with that, I am Joe Frisaro, ManOn2nd, and we will catch everybody in the next video.